ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the James versus DULORME media conference call. I will now turn the program over to Ray Flores.
Thank you very much, operator, and thank you so much to the media joining us wherever you are around the world. We hope that all of you are safe and sound during these rather difficult times with the coronavirus pandemic that has encapsulated the entire world. But we are very excited for Fox PBC Fight Night on Fox FS1 and Fox Sports this Saturday, August 8th, from the Microsoft Theater here in Los Angeles. We get going live 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific time, headlined by the fighters that we are going to be hearing from today. It features top welterweight sensation Jamal Shango James going head-to-head against former title challenger Tomas DULORME in a 12-round battle for the Interim WBA Welterweight Championship. The broadcast also will feature Cuban sensation David Morrell Jr. stepping up in just his third professional fight to collide against unbeaten Lennox Allen in a 12-round WBA super middleweight interim title matchup in the co-main event. Plus, undefeated super lightweight prospect Omar Juarez, who gives back to his community of Brownsville, Texas, will take on Willie Shaw in a matchup to open up the broadcast. Now, following a Fox PBC Fight Night at 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific time, we have more bouts on FS1. It features welterweight Michael Fox battling Lucas Santamaria in a 10-round matchup. Michael Fox 22-1, 5 knockouts. Santamaria 10-1-1 with 7 knockouts. 18-year-old prospect Vito Melnicki Jr., the pride and joy of New Jersey, will battle Chris Rollins in a 6-round super welterweight matchup. Melnicki with an unblemished record. Also, speaking of perfect records, we have an 8-round clash of 2 heavyweight unbeaten prospects. Luis Pena will match up against Michael Coffey. Pena 6-0 with all of his wins by knockout. Coffey 9-0 with 6 wins coming by way of knockout. Let us begin the action on FS1. Now, without further ado, this man has been working so hard and diligently over the past several years and constantly is putting together tremendous matchups. A man who no doubt is destined for the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the President of Tgb Promotions, my dear friend, Mr. Tom Brown.
Well, thank you, Ray, and thanks everyone for joining us for this conference call today for the return of Fox PBC Fight Night. We're thrilled to be back on Fox, FS1, and Fox Deportes, headlined by this great main event, the WBA Interim Championship in one of boxing's hottest divisions, the welterweights. Jamal's last 4 fights have all been up in the Minneapolis Armory. He's really built a great hometown base up there in Minnesota. So it's too bad we weren't able to get this thing off the ground like it was originally scheduled for back on April 11th in front of his hometown fans. And prior to the pandemic, this is one of the fights on our schedule I was really looking forward to. So it's great that it's the feature attraction for PBC's return on Fox. And Thomas DULORME has proven to be a force in the welterweight division, where he's fought the top level of competition. And I've heard some great things over the last month and a half coming out of the Coachella Valley with his training. It's a big test for both fighters Saturday night, and the winner will elevate his standing in the division. Now, normally on a call like this is about the point at a time where I would say tickets are on sale now for the live event at so-and-so. But it's a different world, man. And it's very tough doing these events during this time. And you really have to applaud the fighters and everyone involved in getting boxing back going again. And as Ray said, following the Fox broadcast, FS1 will televise 4 separate additional fights. So there's going to be nonstop action and a lot of excitement on Saturday night. I'll turn it back to Ray. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Tom. And now it gives me a great honor and a pleasure to introduce a man who has a record of 26-1, 12 knockouts, representing his hometown of Minneapolis, Minnesota. He has a passionate fan base. They absolutely love him. As Tom mentioned, he was supposed to headline against DULORME before COVID-19, the pandemic. His last bout came last July, an exciting decision victory over former champion Antonio DeMarco. He's won 6 straight victories, including beating the likes of Diego Chavez, Abel Ramos, and Jojo Dan. He gives back to his community of Minneapolis, Minnesota, a wonderful representation for the sport of boxing and the youth in the Minneapolis area. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the top contender from Minneapolis, Minnesota, Jamal Shango James. Jamal?
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Thank y'all for having me, man. It's good to be back.
Jamal, if you have any opening comments.
Yeah. I just said, thank you guys for having me. It's good to be back. Come Saturday, I'm going to give everybody the fireworks they've been waiting on, and I'm glad to have this opportunity.
And now we will open it up to the operator if the media has any questions for Jamal Shango James.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, if you have any questions, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. Again, that's star 1 on your telephone keypad to enter the question queue. Okay, looks like our first question will come from Keith Idek. Keith, your line is now open.
Yes, my question is for Jamal. Jamal, I know there's obviously nothing you can do about it, but is there any disappointment in that you couldn't fight for in this title fight in your hometown?
It would have been nice to been able to fight in the hometown, but I wouldn't really say I'm disappointed. I'm really more blessed and happy to be able to get back in the ring at all. You know what I mean? When it got postponed and the pandemic really hit like that, I had no idea when I'd be back in the ring or anything like that. So with so much people, out of work and unable to do things, I'm just glad to have this opportunity, man, and I'm gonna make the most of it.
When I spoke to Thomas DULORME the other day, he said that one of the things that he feels separates the both of you is that he has fought a higher level of opposition. I was just wondering what your perspective is on that.
He's fought some good competition, you know what I mean? But so have I. I don't know if you want to say higher level or not. I would say, he's fought guys that might have a little bit bigger names, you know what I mean? If that's what he's talking about. But at the end of the day, once we get in there Saturday, we're going to find out, who got the best skills, and that's what it's going to come down to.
Thank you, Jamal.
All right, our next question will come from, looks like Charles Hallman. Charles, your line is now open.
Thank you. How you doing, James? I hope everything is all right with you and the family. Do you have to do anything different in your training after you realized that the fight was going to be postponed because of the virus, and how did you deal with trying to get yourself back into fighting shape once you found out the fight was going to be called back on?
Yeah, well, we always stay in shape, you know what I mean? We definitely just slowed down the intensity of training once it got postponed, just because we didn't know when we would be back on again. But even in between fights, I stay training, man. I stay in the gym. This is a full-time job for me. Until I decide to retire, I'll probably always make sure that I have, time in a day where I'm putting in some work. So once we got the word that we was going to be back on, then, we just turned up the heat a little bit on the training. But I never allow myself to get too far out of shape or anything like that.
If a follow-up, you can speak on the fact that you and David, again, will be fighting on the same card, and you are both in the same staple, in terms of, as well as fighting on a national stage, so to speak, or you've been fighting mostly in Minneapolis. How important is that you be able to show the world your skills that all of us in Minneapolis have seen over the last few months?
I mean, it's important every time you get in there, no matter where you at. You know what I mean? I've been blessed to been able to bring back world-class events to Minnesota, but before I was fighting back in Minnesota, I was traveling. I fought in California before. I fought in Alabama. I fought all over. As long as the ring got 4 corners and the opponent got 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head like I do, I'm going to show out. You know what I mean? So, obviously, it's a bigger fight because you got the belt on the line and stuff like that, but the reality is all those fights, all my previous fights were just as big. If I wasn't able to win or get past those fights, and I wouldn't be in this position now. So it's another big fight to me,
Thank you very much. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you, man.
All right, our next question will come from Dan Cole. Dan, your line is now open.
Thank you very much. So, Jamal, in preparation for this fight, when watching film of maybe some of DULORME's previous fights, was there anything about his fighting style or something of that nature that really jumped out at you?
He's a good, strong fighter, man. I see, he throws nice punches, nice combinations. Nothing necessarily that jumped out. Every fighter has, something that they like to do a little bit more than others. Every fighter has their own kind of, their own tricks that they use. But I have my own too, you know what I mean? And that's what makes fights so fun, because when you put those two against each other, then you get to see, what's going to be able to prevail and not. I'm not underestimating him. I know he's going to come out, fully capable and to the best of his ability. But I'm feeling extremely confident. I've trained extremely hard. I put in and paid my dues in the ring, just like he has. So I'm coming to win.
Awesome. And one follow-up for that, obviously, there's been the fight venue switching from Minneapolis to California. And obviously it's going to be a slight disadvantage not having your hometown in front of you. But just how do you think that having no fans, no crowd noise, how do you think that might impact the fight?
I've said in other interviews, man, when you're in the ring and those punches start flying, man, your main focus is on your opponent and trying to hear what your corner is saying, you know what I mean? So you really don't even hear the crowd too much. It's like white noise, you'll hear the crowd if like you're just totally dominating the fight and you're more relaxed in there. Then you can hear people shouting stuff and the oohs and ahs, but at least for myself, I really zone in. So having no crowd in there, I don't think it's truly going to affect me as much. I think it'll allow me to kind of be able to hear my corner better and allow me to be able to zone in a lot more on what I'm trying to do. But, we'll see Saturday, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Shango.
Thank you, man.
And our next question will come from Carlos Toro. Carlos, your line is now open.
Hi, thanks so much for taking time to talk to us. When this fight was first canceled or postponed, I should say, due to COVID-19, was there a worry from at least your side that maybe this fight is not going to happen based on everything that's been going on with the world and the U.S. and the cases number going up? Was there a worry that you thought that you weren't going to get this opportunity to fight for this title on this stage later this year?
It wasn't necessarily too much of a worry, to be honest. When all this stuff started happening, I was more concerned with what was going on with the pandemic, and I'm just happy that my family and friends and stuff was safe, and I was just, I definitely wanted to get back in the ring, but more than that, I wanted to see what was going on with everything and trying to figure out how we can come to some type of solution with all this craziness, And then, coming from Minneapolis, the whole George Floyd incident happened, so it was, I was just blessed that I myself was safe and my family was safe, man, and that's what was on my mind first.
Obviously with this being the first PBC on Fox show back, what does it mean to you that you're not just getting this opportunity to fight for a title in on this stage, but to be the first main event back? What does it mean to you to be able to get this opportunity to get the same type of opponent, same title at stake for this event?
It's truly a blessing. You know what I mean? It means a lot. It it feels like I'm finally getting acknowledged, for my skills and for the work I've put in. So, I'm happy. And I'm glad to have this opportunity, and I'm going to take advantage of it, man. I'm going to definitely make sure that people know that I appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks so much, and best of luck in the fight.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Just wanted to remind participants how to re-enter the question queue. It is *1. So again, if you have questions, please press *1 on your telephone keypad. I'll now turn the program over to TJ Reeves. TJ, your line is now open.
Thank you, Jamal. Good luck.
Hey, thanks, man.
Jamal, thank you. Good luck. Hey, quick question. It's a weird time, a weird world. What have the last few days been like? Because I assume you're already there and there's testing going on and a bubble in progress. What has that part been like, please?
You know, to be honest, it ain't been too bad, man. You got to be, we're quarantined on certain floors, and, we're urged to, kind of stay in the rooms and stuff, except for when we got to, except for our designated times to train and eat and stuff like that. But it's really not too bad, man. I'm just glad, to be honest. I'm glad to have the opportunity. I'm glad to be getting back in the ring. Like I said before, man, a lot of people are out of work. It's hard for a lot of people out there. So for me to be able to get this opportunity and be able to provide for my family a little bit after this bout, is truly a blessing.
One quick follow-up, because everybody's following up. What can you compare Saturday night, you haven't done it yet, fighting in front of no fans? Have you ever been in any kind of a circumstance like that to draw off of? Thank you. Good luck.
Yeah, all the time in the gym, man. You ain't got no fans when you sparring. You know what I mean? We doing long rounds in the gym. Outside, even earlier on, when I first started my pro career, a lot of times, you would fight after main events or something. If you were like a swing bout or something, you have to go on after main events and stuff like that. And there wouldn't be people in the crowd like that. A lot of people be leaving out. So, again, as long as the ring has four corners and the opponent got two arms and two legs with a head, and we're going to get it on. Whoever's tuning in or whoever is there in person, those are the people that's definitely going to get their show.
All right, our next question will come from Keith Idek. Keith, your line is now open.
Jamal, you've had a more up-close view of David Morrell's development than anyone. I was just wondering what you've seen from him since he came to Minneapolis and how he's developed as a fighter and what type of potential you think that he has moving forward.
Oh, man, he's a phenomenal athlete. He's a phenomenal fighter, man. He came here. He's already been, blessed with a tremendous amount of skill and ability. I think he's going to make some serious noise in his weight class. He trains extremely hard, always has, a lot of energy and a positive outlook on things. And he could hit, man. The cat hits like a sledgehammer, throws nice combination, has extremely quick reflexes, man. He's gonna go far. He's definitely about to get this belt, and I just can't wait to get in here so we can show our skills off and we can both turn with these titles.
Jamal, what does it say about his ambition? He's fighting only in his third professional fight, and he's fighting an opponent with 23 fights. What does that say about his willingness to prove himself against more experienced opponents?
That he's hungry, man, and I can see it when he trains. He's extremely hungry, He's coming out of Cuba, man. Them cats is fighting all the time. They don't get opportunities to turn pro, so their amateur careers is almost like pro career somewhat, you know what I mean? Obviously, they're not doing the rounds. It's slightly different being amateur from pro, but coming out of Cuba, these cats is fighting hard, and he was a top athlete out there. He was winning in a lot of international competitions. He's been through a lot, and I could tell, just from talking to him and just from seeing how he moves, that he's extremely hungry and he wants this. And, he's going to show, he'll show himself, he'll show everybody himself once he gets in there and starts performing like that. But, I definitely think he's ready, even with just these fights, just from what I've seen in the gym. I think he's ready to get tested like that.
Thanks for your time, Jamal.
Thank you.
All right. Our next question will come from Francisco Salazar. Francisco, your line is now open.
Hello, Jamal. How are you today?
I'm good, man. Thank you. How you doing?
Good, thank you. Just a couple of questions. Sorry if I jumped on the line and I might have repeated questions. It won't be about fighting in front of no fans. I won't ask that. It's been asked
okay.
5 million times. And so, Thomas DeLorme has fought. You both have fought, equal amount of decent, modest, level fighters. Obviously he's had some very solid wins. He's had some solid defeats. Which film have you been studying more? The fights where he fought Terrence Crawford, or some of the more recent fights, like against Jesse Vargas?
A little bit of both. I've seen him in the Crawford fight, and I watched his last fight, and some of his other ones. And when watching film, at least, it gives you kind of an idea, and it gives you a guy's kind of rhythm and stuff like that when they fight. You don't want to get too caught up thinking that they're going to fight exactly the same, you know what I mean? Because just like I'm studying him, he's studying me. So, if I come out thinking he's going to fight me like he fought Vargas or like he fought Crawford, that's, that's not reasonable. I come with a whole different set of gifts and stuff like that. I'm a lot taller than those guys, so he might come out and fight me totally different. And if I wasn't prepared for that, or if I'm not able to adjust to that, then I'm not, then the fight may not go well for me. So when I watch the fights, I just kind of look for little things and see what kind of rhythm he's throwing in and stuff like that, and then I go to work on my own stuff and how I can use it to my advantage once we get in there.
True. You and Thomas are fighting for a title belt. Do you see yourself amongst the elite fighters at 147? God willing, you get this win, but do you see yourself and measure yourself among the best with the Manny Pacquiao's, the Keith Thurman, the Terrence Crawford? How do you, where do you measure yourself? Do you believe you're a top 5 fighter, top 10 fighter? Where do you measure yourself at a fighter that 147 pounds?
Yeah, man. I definitely believe I'm a top 5 fighter. You know what I mean? Top 3 fighter, man. I definitely believe I'm in that type of class and that type of category. You know what I mean? I've been winning. I've been fighting. And proving it. I guess there's no way than to keep proving myself, I guess, until I can get those type of fights with those guys. You know what I mean? But that's what we've been waiting on. We've been waiting on title shots, waiting on those type of opportunities. And that's not looking past any opportunity that I get, though. So I'm not looking past DeLorme because, he's definitely tough. He's going to be, he's going to come to bring it and fight just like I am. And he's been in there with some cash and got his own little tricks. But I'm going to prove to people, that I'm a force to be reckoned with. You know what I mean? And so if I got to, show people by getting past him, then that's what I got to do. And hopefully this will, slingshot me up to getting one of those bigger name guys, or trying to unify a title or something like that. That's the ultimate goal.
All right. Thank you guys very much. Jamal, thank you so much for your time. Jamal, if you have any final comments as we get ready to talk with your opponent, Tomas DeLorme. Final comments, Jamal.
I just want to, thank you guys for having me, man. Big shout out to Fox. Big shout out to PBC, man, and thank you for this opportunity. And of course, all the love and respect to all my supporters out there. Please follow me on all social media accounts. Just look up Shango Nation. And also check out the nonprofit organization that I train out of and work with called the Circle of Discipline. If you go to circleofdiscipline.org, you can see the stuff we do. Thanks, man.
Really appreciate Jamal James taking the time out to speak with the media. Now we will turn our attention to the man who will be standing across the ring from Jamal James this upcoming Saturday. Don't forget, PBC Fox Fight Night comes your way, Fox and FS1 and Fox. We go live on Fox, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific time, presented by Premier Boxing Champions, as we welcome in a man who is fighting and representing the country of Puerto Rico, most recently defeated the unbeaten Terrell Williams in September. Before that, he had a majority draw against 2 division world champion Jesse Vargas, actually rebounded from a 140-pound title opportunity against Terrence Crawford. He came back with 2 back-to-back knockouts before losing a narrow decision to top welterweight Yordenis Ugas on Fox in 2017. His record, 25 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, 16 wins coming by way of knockout. He represents the rich boxing country of Puerto Rico. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Tomas DULORME. Tomas.
Hi, everybody. I'm being here.
Now, if the media has any questions for Tomas DULORME, by all means, he's here for all of you.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, that's star 1 to enter the question queue. Again, that's star 1 to enter the question queue. And our first question will come from Carlos Gonzalez.
Saludos, Tomás. Espero esté todo bien.
Saludos, Carlos. ¿Cómo estás?
Todo bien, gracias. Mi pregunta es la siguiente. Hace unos años eras considerado una figura en ascenso y potencial campeón mundial, pero sufriste esos tropezones, esas derrotas. ¿Qué entiendes tú que ha pasado y qué ajustes o cambios hiciste para ponerte en esta posición?
Pero nosotros pues tuvimos tropezones, tuvimos que empezar otra vez, empezar de cero, seguir trabajando duro, y yo pienso que ese es lo que tuve que hacer, es tener constancia y seguir obteniendo pues resultados encima del ring, y pues para lograr llegar a esta posición otra vez.
The question was, a few years back, Tomas was one of the rising fighters coming up, and then he suffered a couple of losses. And what did he have to do to, get himself back to where he's at now? What changes did he make? And he said he started back from the bottom and just worked his way up, and that's where he's at now, and he's trying to win the world title.
Y entonces, ¿qué peleas podrías decirnos que fue esa que aprendiste algo, que dijiste, no, yo tengo que hacer unos cambios radicales para poder ponerme en posición de un título mundial nuevamente?
The question is, hold on a second. The question was, what fight was it that you decided you had to make a change?
Pues no fue alguna pelea en específica. Yo simplemente sabía que yo tenía que tener algunas peleas con nombres, con peleadores que estén en las mejores posiciones y poder demostrar que pues yo siempre he sido un peleador bueno y que estoy entre los mejores.
He said it wasn't any one specific fight. He just knew that he had to face ranked fighters, some of the top guys, so that he could show he belongs right up there with them.
Gracias, Tomás. Suerte.
Gracias.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to go ahead and remind everyone to please press star 1 to enter the question queue. Again, that's star 1 for questions. And it looks like our next question will come from Kenneth Buhari.
Yeah, hi, Thomas. I have a couple questions. The first one being, what would a win on Saturday night mean for you?
La primera pregunta es, ¿qué te significa una victoria en sábado? ¿Qué va a hacer para tu carrera una victoria?
Mira, pues todas las victorias son importantes, esta también es importante, me va a mover un paso más adelante a buscar mejores peleas para el futuro.
He said every fight and every win is important. Victory on Saturday will move him a step closer, get him closer to what he wants, which is obviously a full world title.
Can you tell us what you think of Jamal James as a fighter and how you see the fight playing out?
¿Piensas de Jamal James de peleador y cómo piensas que va a ir la pelea?
Bueno, yo pienso que James es un buen peleador, él tiene su habilidad para llegar a este punto de nivel, y de la forma que yo pienso que se va a acabar la pelea, yo creo que se va a acabar antes del 12.
He said that he thinks Jamal James is a good fighter. Obviously, his talent and ability got him to this position where he's at right now. And how he thinks the fight will go, he doesn't see it going to the 12th round.
All right. Thank you so much, Thomas. Best of luck to you on Saturday.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thomas, I have a question for you in regards to, you represent Puerto Rico right now. Puerto Rico, to my knowledge, doesn't have a world champion. How much would that bring such a great deal of pride if you're able to win the title on Saturday night against Jamal James?
Dice que tú representas a Puerto Rico y en este momento no tiene un campeón, la isla, y ¿qué significa para ti para llevar un título a la isla?
Pues para mí significa mucho, para mí significa pues todo, por eso estamos aquí, vamos a trabajar duro el sábado y para mucha gente significa mucho también, no solamente para mí, pero para mucha gente que están apoyando significa algo grande.
He said it means a lot to him. It means a lot to get here and to fight and to win a world title, and not just to him, but it means a lot to a lot of people, back home on the island. A lot of people are pulling for him and rooting for him and really want him to win this title for Puerto Rico.
Another point I'd like to ask for, Thomas, is that, this fight was scheduled for April 11th, and, we're starting to see fights be rescheduled in light of the pandemic, but how aware was him and also, Joel Diaz about not overtraining and making sure that he's peaking at the right time and not burning himself out in training, because this fight was scheduled on April 11th, and now we're here heading to August 8th for this matchup?
Dice que esta pelea justamente era para el 11 de abril y obviamente se canceló y tú quedaste ahí y empezaste entrenando otra vez, que era la clave para no dejar todo en el gimnasio para entrenar, pero con inteligencia, que todavía estás fuerte por el 8 de agosto.
Pues tuvimos que hacer unos cuantos ajustes, Joel hizo unos cuantos ajustes en el gimnasio, algunas semanas tuve semanas libres, otro pues empezamos a trabajar y hasta que tuvimos un día exacto, pues pudimos empezar a trabajar otra vez.
He said, yes, Joel's trainer, Joel Diaz, had to make a few adjustments. Definitely, he stayed in India, down where he trains at, during the whole time. He didn't go home. And he took a couple weeks off, and he was still training, but he wasn't going like full 100% training until he had the exact date, and then they made another adjustments to make sure that he would be 100% for Saturday night.
Do you like the fact that you're fighting someone in Jamal James who is aggressive and likes to come forward and enjoys mixing it up? Because, it seems like he's not going to be very hard to find. And, I know that you like to stand and trade and engage in back and forth fights as well.
¿Te gusta el estilo de James, que él le gusta mover enfrente y para pelear y no vas a tener que buscarlo, que él va a estar ahí y él le gusta intercambiar golpes y dice que tú te gusta lo mismo, a intercambiar y estar ahí en el medio del ring?
Pues yo pienso que sí, que va a ser una pelea muy buena, pues James pues le gusta estar ahí al frente y pues no anda pues haciendo un boxeo tan limpio, pero va a ser una buena pelea, no sé la estrategia que él traiga para esta pelea, lo voy a descubrir en el primer asalto, pero va a ser una gran pelea.
He said, yeah, he thinks his style will present a good fight. His style isn't James. That yeah, he likes to always be in front, stand there and throw punches. He doesn't know exactly what style James is going to bring to the ring on Saturday. It's possible he changes it up, but he thinks that their styles will go together and the fans will get a great fight.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's *1 to enter the question queue. Again, that's *1 for any final questions. And at this time, it doesn't look like anyone else is joining the queue.
Okay, terrific.
Wait,
well, right now,
real quick, do we want to take this one final question from Carlos?
By all means.
Okay, great. So,
all right,
okay,
thank you, guys. Just one last question. Última pregunta, Tomás.
Sí.
¿Cómo ves el haberte ido de Puerto Rico en un momento dado para entrenar fuera, y eso te ayudó en mantener un nivel de concentración distinto?
Mira, sí, me ha ayudado mucho a tener un nivel de concentraciones diferente. También he aprendido mucho de muchos peleadores élites aquí en los Estados Unidos y pues sí me ha ayudado bastante.
The question was, how does it affect them or help them to train outside of Puerto Rico? And Tomas said it's helped him a lot. And the question was also, does he focus better? And he said, yeah, he focuses great out here. And not only that, but there's just different style of fighters here in the United States, and he's learned a lot from being around the other fighters.
All right. Thanks a lot. Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
All right, if we have any final comments from Tomas DULORME as he gets set to battle Jamal Shango James for the interim WBA Welterweight Championship of the World this upcoming Saturday, PBC Fox Fight Night on Fox, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific Time. Tomas, final comments.
¿Tus últimos comentarios por la pelea, Tomás?
Bueno, estamos muy felices por tener esta pelea, muy felices por la oportunidad, que todo el mundo esté pendiente para ver esta pelea el sábado en la noche, 8 de agosto, y vamos a dar una gran pelea.
So, yeah, he's very happy, to be here, that the fight's here on Saturday night, and it's going to be a great fight for all the fans that will be watching, and they can guarantee a great fight.
Thank you very much to Tomas DULORME, Ryan Burton, his translator, and also Jamal Shango James, Tom Brown. Don't forget Jamal James, Tomas DULORME this Saturday, PBC Fox Fight Night on Fox, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific Time. Following the main telecast, flip on over to Fox PBC Fight Night on FS1, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific Time, a full slate of action as well. Thank you guys so much. Stay safe. And we are just so honored and thrilled to have Premier Boxing Champions back inside the boxing ring. Have a great one. Stay safe. And we'll see you this weekend. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.